Sabbath School Lesson Study entitled A Moment of Destiny. For this week's study, we will be reading Matthew chapter 24 verse 14, Revelation chapter 14 verses 14 to 20, Matthew chapter 16 verse 27, Acts chapter 1 verse 9 to 11, Mark chapter 4 verse 26 to 29, and Revelation chapter 16 verse 1. The memory verse for this week is Revelation chapter 14 verses 14 and 15. The New King James Version says, "Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and on the cloud sat one like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, 'Thrust in your sickle and reap. For the time has come for you to reap. For the harvest of the earth is ripe.'" From the New International Version. I looked, and there before me was a white cloud, and seated on the cloud was one like a son of man with a crown of gold on his head, and a sharp sickle in his hand. Then another angel came out of the temple and called in a loud voice to him who was sitting on the cloud, "Take your sickle and reap, because the time to reap has come. For the harvest of the earth is ripe." The Living Bible states, "Then the scene changed, and I saw a white cloud and someone sitting on it who looked like Jesus, who was called the Son of Man, with a crown of solid gold upon his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. Then an angel came from the temple and called out to him, 'Begin to use the sickle. For the time has come for you to reap, the harvest is ripe on the earth.'" God has always spoken to his people, giving them whatever relevant truths they needed to hear at the time. From the warning about the flood in Genesis chapter 6 verse 7, to the first coming of Jesus as recorded in Daniel chapter 9 verses 24 to 27, to the pre-Advent judgment in Daniel chapter 7 verses 9 and 10 and Daniel chapter 8 verse 14, to the final events before Christ's return in Revelation chapter 12 verse 14, God has spoken to us. In these last days of human history, he has sent a special message to the world and to his people, designed to meet the need of the hour. He pictures this message as being carried by three angels, flying in mid-heaven with their urgent, end-time message to all the world. The three angels' messages are Jesus' final message of mercy, a call that leads us from trusting in our own righteousness to trusting the righteousness of Jesus to justify us, to sanctify us, and, at the end of time, to glorify us. As always, though, we must choose Christ, to surrender to him and to obey him, and the choices we make now will, indeed, impact the choices we make in the final crisis ahead of us. Thus, now is the time to prepare. May grace and peace be yours in abundance.